Hello, I'm Veronica. I'll be going over theory and application in public ethics. First, I'll be going over overarching theories, their application to public administration, and closing it out with virtue theory. Natural law theory is the universal principles in human nature, basic human rights. We can all agree on that. We don't want to be killing each other like Cain and Abel. That's something from the beginning that we can all agree on. Categorical imperatives, this is the universal application, how we want to show up consistently and fair. Utilitarianism is the concept and theory that it's the greatest good for the greatest number of people. And a tool that can be applied to this is a cost benefit analysis. And a real world example is recently Riverside Council rejects 20 million to state grant for affordable housing project. In January, the council voted 4-3 to reject the 20 million in state grants. The community really showed up to the council meeting with 60 requests and more than 100 online comments. And ultimately, the council and the community, even though this was a good cause, a noble cause, providing housing for low income and our houseless neighbors, they ultimately said no because it wasn't going to revitalize and discount the work that has been invested currently, like the Eastside Library, the community center, and the businesses that have really uplifted that community. So they turned that down. Contractarianism, giving up some freedoms for order and protection. I immediately thought of this book, Abundance, which has the abundance agenda, which focuses on rather than redistributing the resources we have, just making more. So rather, instead of focusing on giving up anything or having a scarcity mindset, it focuses on abundance, and instead of focusing on the limited housing, just building more. So highly recommend this book and reading this with this theme. With virtue theory, it's an emphasis on qualities on honesty, integrity, courage, and fairness. And what came up for me was I don't think that the right question is, should virtues theory be involved in public administration? Is it like, can we ever separate them? Our current president got voted in for his emphasis on America first and focusing on border security and economic nationalism. And those are the virtues and the values that he got voted in on. And, the current mayor of New York, he got voted in. This is a quote I pulled, but what I don't have in experience, I make up for in integrity. And what you don't have in integrity, you could never make up for in experience. So this is a very value and a value-centered approach. And, this is not a new concept. Tons of presidents before have used their charisma, their values, and their ability to connect through those shared values to get voted in. So I don't believe that's the right question. If they belong, it's like, can we ever separate them? And I don't think we can. And it's an interesting point to dissect. As we have it's an interesting point to dissect, and I really appreciate this time to speak on this, and thank you for listening.